All right, good morning. This is Thursday for the 27th ACA, 27th for ACA, Order of Operations Day 2. We have this warm up on the floor. Pause and play when you're ready to go over it. It says the clothing store sells t-shirts for $8 and sweatpants for $14. Marsha buys 6 shirts and 6 sweatpants. Evaluate the expression. Evaluate is just a fancy word for solve. Okay, so let's try that one more time. Evaluate is just a fancy word for solve. Solve the expression 6 times 8 plus 6 times 14 to find the total cost. Okay, so what happened is there's incorrect math in here, and we had to find it. Okay, did someone find it? Ryan, where do you see it?
In that second step,
Yeah.
they added 4 and 6. And
Okay, so when they went from this step to right there, they added when they should have done what instead? Multiplied. They added, and you don't have to, like, maybe you just put a little writing in your warm-up box. They added 48 plus 6 when they should have multiplied first. When they should have multiplied. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix that mistake. Let's find out how much it should be. Because y'all, $756 for 6 pairs of shirt, 6 sweatpants and 6 and 6. That's expensive, right? For me it is. It better be Gucci, but I don't think it is. Okay, so let's do 6 times 14 with me. Let's warm up with some math. 4 by 6 is? Carry the 2, and then 1 by 6 plus 2, 84. So I'm going to rewrite that 48 plus 84. I'm going to just add it on to here. 4 and 8. 4 and 8 plus 1. 132. Who wants to take a right now? I want more money to spend on actual One Direction tickets.
I found the rest.
Take that money and turn it into points for every one.
Don't One Direction have like 2 members now?
It's easier. They all are alive. They all come together. You never know. Ooh. The One Direction members.
They're highly devout.
You never know. All these boy bands come back. Like, I know y'all are too young for it, but like New Kids on the Block, Backstreet Boys, like everyone splits up. But all right, here we go with the homework recording, so y'all can check it on your own. All right, today we're doing a second day of Order of Operations. Just reviewing at first, and then we'll do a couple of activities, and they will be fun, hopefully. There's going to be some races that we do. But before we get there, let's review our little saying. Yesterday, we learned about Gemma. The G stands for grouping. Very good. Grouping symbols. Grouping symbols can include, what were some examples? Brackets, braces. Parentheses, I heard it. Absolute values, absolutely. Brody. Exponents is for E. Very good.
So
E exponents. In class. And when they happen at the same time?
Oh, left to right.
Left to right.
Addition, subtraction.
Oh, thank you. A is for?
Additive.
Add and subtract. Additive is for equations, like linear equations. This is not an equation. Add and subtract when they happen at the same time?
Left to right.
Left to right. Okay, awesome job. Okay, just to review, we are going to do just placing the order. Remember, Ms. Wendell likes to place it above the operation sign, not the number, because the operations happen with 2 numbers. That checklist is always there for us to work with. Okay, so we're just doing 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, we're not actually solving, we're just putting the order to solve. So, Gemma is my friend. So, looking at this one already, are there groups? grouping symbols? Yes. Within that grouping, how many operations are happening? Two, because there's exponent and there's addition. So whenever you have like a separate equation within an equation, you follow Gemma again. Okay? Once you get up into like high school, they will actually put grouping symbols within grouping symbols. Okay? And it's like, okay, you just look at this chunk in there, I follow Gemma. In that set, I follow Gemma. You just always follow Gemma. Okay? So in the parentheses, what would I do first? The exponent, because within it, there's two things. So I'm going to go ahead and say that's going to be my first step, and then I'm going to do addition. Now, why does the addition get to surpass what's outside? Because it's in those parentheses. So that's going to be second, and then after I've added all those numbers, then lastly, I will divide. Does that make sense?
So you don't put the parentheses with 1?
Correct. Okay? Because within that grouping, there's multiple steps. We don't just put 1 over the whole thing because we want to break it down even further. Okay? Why don't y'all try out number 3? Go ahead, just put the steps for number 3. Pause, play 1. Okay? I love that I thought Cameron right how to put out his Gemma next to it for his checklist. Okay, guys, are there grouping? Yes. What am I going to do first within that grouping? Exponents, and then I'm going to subtract. Now I'm done with that grouping. I can go outside. Are there any exponents on the outside of that? No. Is there any multiplication or division on the outside? Yes. Okay. So once I subtract those two numbers within, I will then multiply and then add. Okay, and I saw that on most of y'all, so good job. Okay, now the next one is a little spicier, and let's just review what we know about what we see. What do we see in number 2?
There's a line.
There's a line in the middle. There's grouping. There's exponents. Blah, blah, blah.
There's numbers under.
Yeah, and there's numbers under it. So let's talk about that line in the middle. Whenever we have like a line with a number on the top and numbers on the bottom, what operation got that in the past? Division. Do we agree? Like whenever Miss Lyle says, "Oh, turn that fraction into a decimal," we always do what operation? Divide. It's the same thing. Okay. But when this happens, when I have like an equation on the top and an equation on the bottom, what's actually happening is some more of this invisible math. Okay? There's actually not even a poster for this, but what's happening is there's actually invisible parentheses on the numerator and the denominator. I'm going to show you why. Okay? If I followed Gemma, I would still do what first? I would still do my parentheses, my grouping. That would still be my first step. Great. Okay, you can then do your exponent second, but where we go into an issue is this multiplication and division step, right? Okay, because I have the times 3 here, but I also have what? The division. Because if I was dividing, do I divide it by the 3 squared? Do I divide it by the 5? Do I, like, which numbers am I dividing by what? Isn't that weird? It could potentially be confusing. It could be. If you're actually going step by step by step, you would probably be like, okay, what's up?
I think that maybe if you get to solve the both, you divide those numbers.
Exactly, and that's precisely what we're going to do. So the invisible math that's actually going on here is there's invisible parentheses on the numerator and the denominator. And I like to go add them just so I don't forget. It's a quick little add. I'm going to add the parentheses on the top, everything on the bottom, and then I would divide those at the end like we've long said. At the very end, once I solve each chunk, then I would divide. Okay, so let's go through and just solve it all again with our steps. So I'm still going to do grouping first. And you notice, do you see now that there's sort of kind of grouping within the grouping? Yeah, so I'm going to do everything in there first. So I'm going to do that addition, and I'm going to do that multiplication. I'm done with the top. I'm going to go down. I'm going to do my exponent and my subtraction. And then lastly, I'm going to put a little arrow because that's going to be my reminder to divide. That's going to be my 5th step. Okay, go ahead, do number 4. I think y'all got it. Pause and play. All right. Lana, what do you think the first step is on number 4? Grouping. What within that grouping? What would it be first? Yeah, so there's 4 squared and then there's the minus. Which part am I gonna do first? 4 squared, very good, because within that grouping, I'm gonna follow Gemma again. So that's gonna be my first step, and then I'm gonna subtract. Now I'm outside. Brody, what's gonna be next? Very good. In class, lastly, I would subtract. Okay, so we've got the order down. Now let's actually practice solving a few. Okay, just like yesterday, we're gonna take it step by step. We're not gonna do it all in your head. We're gonna be amazing mathematicians. Yes, ma'am.
The first one,
There's just a 2. What do you mean?
looks like it's
Yeah, it's like floating.
Yeah, it's an exponent of everything that's inside. It's saying we're gonna square what we saw for in the parentheses. Look at that, spicy. Yes, so my class just pointed out, this 2 sort of looks like it's floating and it's not attached to anything. It's attached to the parentheses.
So the answer to the parentheses?
I'm sorry?
So the answer is what's inside the parentheses?
Yes, correct. We're gonna square what's inside the parentheses. So let's write down our checklist and let's do this one together. Okay, G, E, N, A. So I have just when it gets unorganized and when you get clustered, follow the checklist. Do I have grouping? Yes. Let's solve it. I'm gonna remember yesterday I like to underline each step that I'm doing. 5 plus 4 class is 9. So I'm gonna put that in parentheses, 9 squared divided by 3. I leave it in parentheses just out of habit. It's a good idea. I'm done with my grouping. Do I have any exponents? Yes. I'm going to do that exponent, 9 squared. 9 squared is the same thing as 9 times 9 times 9. 9 times 9 is 81 divided by 3. Done with my exponent. And then multiplication or division. Take a second, don't shout it out. Give everyone a chance to do that. 81 divided by 3. Give us a second. 81 divided by 3. And how do we know? Does anyone remember? How can I tell that 81 is divisible by 3, Kyle?
8 plus 1.
Uh-huh. And it is. And so this is why those rules are so helpful. You could still do it and get a decimal if it wasn't divisible, but this is exactly why they are helpful. Class 3 goes into 8. 2 times. I'm left with 2. Bring down the 1. Goes in 7. Good. My answer is 27. Final answer. Do y'all want to try one on your own?
Yes,
Okay, ready to go? Pause and play when you're ready. I see quite a few people taking the right first step, but when we're solving it, it's incorrect. When I do this, Gemma, within that grouping, there's 2 steps. Which one do I do first? The exponent. A lot of y'all are still making that mistake. Remember, exponents are different, so you have to think different. 8 squared is not 16. 8 squared is the same as 8 times 8. Okay, 8 squared. Again, it's not written like 8 times 2, so it doesn't mean 8 times 2. It means 8 times 8. So that first step should give me 64. 5 plus 64 minus 2 times 2. I like that Cameron still broke down. He didn't do all the grouping. I did see a few of y'all group all the grouping together in one step. Baby cakes. Baby steps. All right, next. Am I done with my grouping next? Am I done with my grouping? No, I still need to subtract. Very good. So I'm going to copy. That's going to give me 62, close parentheses, times 2. Now I'm done with my grouping. Now I don't have any more exponents. Do I have any multiplication? Yes. 62 times 2 is 124. 5 plus 124 gives me 129. Now notice again, this little handwriting is too big for these little steps. As long as you are taking step by step by step, that's what matters. Okay? We won't even have these steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 further. Yes. We're doing number 7. If you haven't done it yet, take a quick second. All right.
Wait. Is 15 times 8 105?
I don't know.
Did I get that right?
I don't know. 15 times 8 should end in a 0. Okay, number 7, which step do I do first? Yeah, there's no exponent, there's no grouping, so I do exponents. How do I say that? What's the fancy way? 2 to the power of 3, but what's the fancy way? 2 cubed, but that's absolutely correct. I love it, Cameron, great. But 2 cubed is the fancy way to say 2 to the power of 3. So that's the same thing as 2 times
2 times 2.
Very good. And that would be equal to 8. So I'm going to rewrite 45 divided by 3 times 8. That was that first step that I did. Okay? I have multiplication and division happening at the same time. Which one do I do? Left to right, so I'm going to do
45 divided by 3.
very good. That's division. 45 divided by 3 is 15 times 8.
120.
120. Yeah, let's see this one. I was this one yesterday. Great, we did it twice.
Or 15 times 8.
Huh?
Or the 15 times 8.
Yeah. Great. All right, the last one we'll do together, and then we'll have our little activity. So the last one, throwing it back to the other day. Okay, pause. It says which expression is equivalent. What does equivalent mean? Same. It is equal to. Okay. What do you notice in that problem? 60 plus 2 times 36. What do you notice? Just things that you see.
Plus and times.
Plus and times. Very good. When I do exponents, what operation is happening with exponents? Multiplication. So, just thinking ahead, will I be able to, if I did like, I'm noticing that my answer choices, it's sort of written like prime factorization, right? Because it's a lot of small numbers with exponents. Am I going to be able to combine whatever this 16 slims down to with the 2 and the 36? Does that make sense? Am I going to be able to combine those exponents? The answer is no, because the operation with exponents is multiplication. What's happening there is addition. Okay, give me a second. Let me pause. Alrighty, so 6 plus 2 times 3x. So I'm looking for something that is equivalent to this answer. Now there's a couple ways you can solve this. Either way is just as fine. Some people, if they struggle with prime factorization, what they do is they will solve this to actually get an answer. So in this, what would I do first? The addition or the multiplication? The multiplication. And 36 times 2 is 72. Plus 16 is equal to 80. So some people, they will solve this. Oh, Lord. All right. So that equals 80. I'm sorry. All right. So what you could do is solve each of these and see which one gives you 88. Up to you. I think that's 5 problems of work. I don't know. But the way that you're actually supposed to solve it is to do the prime factorization of each. But the thing about it is, again, I cannot combine where it has those plus signs. So what I do is I'll sort of put a line to separate it. I don't know if this is going to make sense, but I keep it separate. And then I'm going to do the factor tree for 16. What can I break 16 into? 8 and 2. Is either one of those prime? 2 is prime, but 8 I can break down. What can I break 8?
4 and 2.
4 and 2.
And 2 is prime.
2 is prime, and then
2 and 2.
2 and 2. So let's pause so everyone can answer. Okay, how can I write all of those 2's in a combined way? Brody.
2 to the 4 power.
2 to the power of 4. Very good. 2 to the power of 4. Do you all agree with that statement?
Yes.
Yes. Where I drew that line, I'm going to go ahead and break down my plus sign. And then 2 and 36. Now, I don't actually have to break it. Like, I don't need to multiply, but you could do the 2 times 36 to have just one piece at the top of your tree. But you're probably going to break it down. So again, I can write 72 and then break that down, but I could break it right back down into 2 and 36. Y'all understand that? Oh my gosh. Here we go. All right, so 30, this just goes back to 2 and 36. I'm not. Okay. Please don't laugh. Okay, I'm just doing it over here. My board is just not working today. So 2 Okay. Sorry guys, on the recording, I can't do it. My smartboard is just messing up today, and so I have to do this on the whiteboard. I'll come back and write the answer in the end. All right, sorry guys, I'm gonna try and write it. When you break down 236, you end up with 2 to the third times 3 to the second, and that would be answer 48. Okay, I think we're gonna get into our activity. For those of y'all at home, y'all will probably just do this the partner practice and homework. There is a minor ticket tomorrow at the end of class, so we'll practice and then at the end. Okay, so that's it for the recording. Good night.